Hello and welcome. This video we're going to take a look at the Arbiter class. Going back in time a bit with this one. We're looking at the Vanity shields from the Dilithium store. So these are available during certain events of the year. And we'll look at the only shield available in the Zen store at the moment. There's chapters in the description down below, along with several other links that I'll cover off at the end of the video. This ship holds a certain place in my heart, as it was the very first T6 ship that I bought many years ago. This was before I got into doing proper builds and appreciating space traits and that. I got this one because it looked very different from most Federation starships, especially the saucer. So now I get to do a video on it, looking at all the different visual effects from the Vanity shields. So let's get cracking. Start off as always with the Alliance Vanity shield. So this is part of the Mutara Alliance bundle, in which you get the shield, the uniform and an upgrade. And this is the only shield currently available in the Zen store. So the visuals itself, we have the white patterned hull material with this grey and gold shading. You can see this orange plasma effect here for the Bussard collectors. We have this patterned cyan deflector effect going on here. And with the cyan there for the cell colouring as well. I'm just going to zoom in a bit so we can see there's a triangular pattern there, and as the light hits it, it changes hue. This is a part of the normal appearance of Alliance vessels, such as the Rex, the Kittimer and so forth. And as I've said before, it was a very nice detail that the art team managed to put into this shield. You can see it all on the top of the nacelle here. And some more of that gold shading, and we can also see some of that different hue effect going on here as well. Look at the rear, so we've got the impulse engine effects here, so the red, orange, white, yellows, and so very nice to see, especially since I've put them on the pylons as well on this particular ship. Bit of an unusual delta line there. And we can see the ship's name there, but no registry number on the saucer. Now a bit of a cyan lighting effect here at the rear. Then the underside, we've got the registry number there. Got more of the white, grey and gold shading. Then we'll have a look at the engine trails. So on this particular shield, it's just a standard Federation one. So we've got the blue and the red. And if they just made that yellow and lightened that blue, it would have worked a lot better. Moving on to the Dilithium store now. So this is a Safe Galaxy Refit Vanity shield. This patterned grey hull material, almost like an urban camouflage. You can see this yellow lighting effect going on here, just at the ship name. Got the gold there for the Bussard collectors. And it's quite bright yellow for the deflector array there. Same yellow effect there on the nacelles. Then we're gold there for the impulse engines. And some more of that yellow lighting here at the rear. You see the lighter grey there on the phaser strips. And then we're more of the same there on the underside. Then the engine trails in this one marry up quite nicely there. So the lighter yellow there, and then the darker yellow from the impulse engines. The only thing missing would be actually having the impulse trail coming off the ones on the pylons as well. Next up's a very popular shield in the game. This is the Vanity shield with the black hull material, which makes these red lines pop very nicely. Then we have the cyan there for the Zhat collectors. Got the pattern deflector array here, again with that cyan colouring. Same there for the cell colour. And then we have this extremely lovely red impulse engine effect. As I've said before, it's probably my favourite impulse engine colouring of all the shields, and I don't know what makes it so nice with this red, but there's something. And then we see this etched pattern design within the hull material as well. We have more of that cyan lighting there at the rear. On the underside again, there's more of that etched pattern design there. And again, the red just standing out lovely against this black hull. Then engine trail wise, again it's just the blue and red standard of the Federation, so lightening that blue would have made it perfect. Next up, it's the Borg Vanity shield. So this gives your vessel the look of a liberated Borg vessel, not the standard black and green cubes, spheres and so forth. So we've got this grey hull material. It's got a pattern effect made up of various shapes and sizes of hull plating. And just zoom in here to the edge. We have this black conduit material, so made to represent exposed areas of the hull. And we've also got some lighting effect with that in certain areas. We have the blue there for the Zhat collectors. This pattern blue deflector array, then a lot more of that conduit material there. So you've got the blues, the orange, the reds, the golds, lighting effects with it there as well. See, same there in the front of the pylons. And a lot more here in the rear of the ship. Same back in the cells there. Then the cells themselves got the blue that tapers off a little bit. Then we have the blue there for the impulse engines. And see that it's got that conduit material effect. And the name's not that clear against this colour hull material, unfortunately. And quite a bit more of that conduit material there on the underside, and then the patterned grey hull material. And the engine trails on this one is that there isn't any. So, don't know if that's by design or by omission. There's only been a couple of ships I've actually seen an engine trail with this shield, and that's been because the ship models forced an engine trail. most ships are like this, no engine trail at all. Time to get out the sunglasses and turn the brightness down on your monitors, as we're looking at the Courier Raider Vanity shield. So this is one of the older shields in the game, not to be confused with the Breen Courier Raider Vanity shield that was released fairly recently. So what we've got is this bare metal effect for the hull material with some black shading. You can already see the very bright white lighting effects there of the Bassard collectors. There's a bit of white lighting along here as well. And we've got a pulsating white light effect going on also. That's the first time I've actually seen that with this shield. Now the very bright white patterned deflector array there. I won't zoom in too much because it is very bright. Now with the white there for the nacelles and white there for the impulse engines. And as you can see with the light hitting it, it is getting quite bright already. Guess it's designed to blind your enemies as they approach. Now we see a touch more of the black there on that phaser strip at the rear. More of the white lighting there as well. And the same here on the underside. Right, so we'll set off the beacon of Kalis. Then for the engine trails in this one, they're red and blue. Engines are white. I'll zoom in a bit closer here just now because you can see this white flame effect coming out of the impulse engines. So they could have just made these engine trails white and it would have tied up nicely. Here we have the Discovery Vanity Shield. So this one has two different visual appearances depending on your faction alignment. So for Federation aligned, you get the appearance of Starfleet vessels in Season 1 of Discovery. So with this two-tone grey patterned hull material. We have this blue patterned Zhat collector there. The deflector, we can see part of the design there, the white with the blue spokes on it. Just because of the style of deflector on this particular ship, it doesn't fill it completely, unfortunately. Then we've got the blue there for the nacelles. Then we've got a red honeycomb pattern there for the impulse engines. Let's see some more of that darker blue there at the rear, and then you can see that pattern effect with the two-tone of the hull material. And more of the same there for the underside. For the engine trails, hang on, they're white. So the Courier Raider that had all white engines had red and blue engine trails. Discovery one, which has red and blue engines, has the white engine trails. Something doesn't quite add up there. Perhaps a little swap between the two would be good. Here we have the Discovery Vanity Shield on a Klingon aligned character. So this is supposed to represent the look of the ships that Discovery tried to pass off as Klingons in Season 1. So we've got this patterned brown hull material. We have the red Bassard collector with this pulsating white light to it. With this nice orange and white deflector there. Then the nacelles are these elliptical shapes with the orange, yellow and white to them. Then we have a light yellow patterned impulse engines. Touch of green there at the rear. You can see that full pattern effect there. It's got a bit of a blue glow to it as well, just round the name. Then we've got a touch of this yellow and white lighting here at the rear. The underside is just more of that brown patterned hull material. Then engine trail wise, we are white, so it's not a million miles off the effect that the engines have with this particular shield. Next up, it's the Discovery Refit Vanity Shield. So we've got a darker two-tone grey hull material. We have these white facade collectors. This patterned blue and white deflector array there. Then we have the white and blue for the nacelles, and the red there for the impulse engines. Then with the white and blue there at the rear, and you see that pattern effect in the different shades of hull material there. And the same there on the underside. You can notice some more detail there on the hull material as well. Engine trail wise, it does marry up with the effect of the engines quite nicely. Next up, we're looking at the Emerald Chain, and it's a exceedingly long name here, Vanity Shield. So that's brown patterned hull material. And we zoom in a bit, you see this textured pattern on certain parts as well. Then we have this very light yellow, almost white effect there for the facade collectors. Patterned, almost a dirty white deflector array there. Very similar colouring there for the nacelle and also for the impulse engines. And with that same colouring here at the rear, you can see that pattern effect there as well throughout the full material. And more of the same there on the underside. And then the engine trails are just the same as the Discovery refits, unfortunately, so it doesn't marry up with the effects from the shields. Next up, we're looking at the Emperor's Vanity Shield, so with the grey hull material with some purple shading. And you see some orange illumination there as well. With this deep yellow for the facade collectors. So lovely orange deflector array there. The deep yellow and touches of white there for the nacelles. and the cyan there for the impulse engines. And some more orange there and yellow illumination here. Again, some more touches of the purple shading visible also. Now if we look at this in the shade of the light, you see this blue illuminated dots, almost like the star field behind it. That is throughout the full hull material. Then on the underside itself again, more of the grey and the purple there, with some touches of this orange also. Then for the engine trails, they do match the shield, so we've got the cyan there from the impulse, and the yellow there from the nacelles. Next up, we're looking at the Ferengi Vanity shield. So we have the orange hull material that we're used to seeing on the Ferengi vessels in the TV shows. We have some gold shading and some grey shading there as well. Then we've got the deep yellow there for the Bizarre collectors, and you can see this rivet detail on the hull material as well. Deep yellow patterned deflector array there. Lighter yellow for the nacelles. Then back to the deeper yellow again for the impulse engines. And some more yellow illumination at the rear there. And you can see quite a bit of that rivet detail on the hull material. And with some more touches of the grey shading and the gold shading there on the underside, along with that orange hull material. And then the engine trails marry up quite nicely with the yellows there. Next up, it's the Hur'q Vanity shield. So we've got this green hull material with this purplish brown shading as well. And then we've also got this black shading that's given a textured look to certain parts of the hull material. We have green there for the Bizarre collectors, the pattern green deflector array there, and then this illuminated green panel material. Quite extensive there looking at the front. Same along the sides here, more of that textured appearance on the material. Then we have the green there for the nacelles themselves. Green there for the impulse engines. And with the green illumination there at the rear as well. And you see that textured effect going throughout the saucer section and along the pylons there. And again, more of that green illuminated panel there as well. With the same here for the underside. And then for the engine trails, they are yellow. Again, just making them similar shade, but in green would have been a lot better. Next up, it's the Kelvin Divergence Vanity shield. So similar to the Discovery one, it has two different visual appearances depending on your faction alignment. So for Federation Aligned, we're getting the appearance of the Starfleet vessels in the reboot films. So we have this grey patterned hull material. I'll come to the Bizarre Collectors in a second. Then we've got this nice patterned blue deflector, meant to mimic that of the Enterprises in the reboot film. Now this awful Bizarre Collector effect going on, which is supposed to represent the Bizarre Collector from the USS Kelvin in the first reboot film. And I've covered it numerous times that it just doesn't work on most ships. They should have just went for the Enterprise's Bizarre Collector effect, just the blue, and been done with it. It would have been a lot better. Then we have the blue and white there for the nacelle. And we have this orange patterned impulse engine effect there. Bit more of the blue illumination there at the rear. And the underside is just the patterned grey hull material. Entry wise, just a standard Federation one, which isn't too far off the engine effects that the shield's putting on the ship. Here we have the Kelvin Divergence Vanity Shield on a Klingon Line character. We've got a few different shades of green there for the hull material, and some touches of grey as well. We have yellow there for the Bizarre Collectors. This really lovely red patterned deflector array. Then we've got this blue patterned nacelle. And the red honeycomb there for the impulse engines. And we've got a touch of the nacelle effect there at the rear, and some white lighting here as well. And then more of the various shades of green there for the hull material on the underside. And the engine trails are the normal Federation ones there. If they'd whitened that blue just a couple of shades, it would have matched up perfectly, I think. Next up's the Prodigy Vanity Shield. So I've said it quite a few times, it is probably one of my favourite shields in the game, even though I can't stand the show it's from. And the main reason I do like this shield is the grey hull material. It really is really nice. We do have a bit of a pattern effect here once it behaves itself and shows us. Here we are. But it's not too extensive on this particular ship like it was on the recent video on the Defiant. So it's nice, it's subtle. I do quite like it. Got the white and blue there for the Bizarre Collectors. This very bright orange and white deflector. I'm not a big fan of the deflector effect in the shield. That's the only thing I don't like about it. Then we have the blue there for the nacelle. The red there for the impulse engines. And we've got more of that blue illumination there at the rear. And just more of that nice grey hull material there with that little bit of a pattern effect going on the edges there. For the engine trails, yep, they match the shield nicely. Next up is another popular shield in the game. This is the Section 31 Vanity shield. So this two-tone hull material, and if we zoom in, so if the game will let me, there we go. You can see it's got a pattern effect within it. And we've also got this striped pattern material there as well. Got the facade collectors, which are blacked out on this particular shield. Now the cyan deflector there. Very bright cyan there for the nacelles. And then the bright red honeycomb impulse engines there. Now more of that cyan lighting there at the rear. And more of the two-tone hull material there on the underside. I think, given the fact that Section 31 is supposed to be a stealth organisation, I'd have thought the hull material would be more of a matte black, you know, just light absorbing kind of effect to it. And engine trail wise, it's not far off it. You know, we've got the lighter blue there, and then the reddish orange there from the impulse engines. Next up, we're looking at the Shrike Vanity shield. So we've got this rusty orange hull material with this burgundy shading and some touches of grey shading there as well. We have the white with a touch of orange there for the facade collectors. A lovely big target painted on the front of your ship there with the red and yellows for the deflector. Then we have the orange there for the nacelle colouring, and then the red and white orange there for the impulse engines. I've got some more orange illumination there at the rear. And there's more of the orange, burgundy and the grey shading there on the underside. Engine trail wise, we have yellow and red. So not quite marrying up with the shield effect, unfortunately. Next up's probably one of the busiest shields in the game, and this is the Tzenkethi Vanity shield. Now it's got quite a bit going on with it. So we have the green, grey and black shading for the hull material with this carved effect within it. Then we also have all this illuminated panel material. And again, whenever the game decides to catch up with me and allow me to zoom in. There we go. So I'm even getting misfires with the servers zooming in. Now, that's quite impressive. So we have this pulsating light effect within that panel material. Then we've got the white pattern there for the facade collectors. This lovely orange deflector array. Again, you can see quite extensive use of that illuminated panel material there and all the pulsating lights on it. Looks like a theme park. Then we have white there for the nacelles and white there for the impulse engines. Then some white illumination there at the rear, and again quite a bit more of that illuminated panel material there. And the same there on the underside. Then engine trail wise, matches lovely with the shield, so we've got the white impulse and the white nacelle trails there. And last but not least is the army camouflage of Vanity shields. This is the Zhat Vash Vanity shield. We've got this olive green and sandy brown hull material with touches of grey shading there. You notice that on the phaser strips. Then we have this green and white patterned SARD collector. It's a lovely green illuminated deflector array. The green and white there for the nacelle colour, and the red for the impulse engines. Then we've got the green there at the rear, along with some more of the illumination there as well. And just more of the two-tone hull material there on the underside. Then for engine trail wise, unfortunately it's just the standard Federation one, the red and blue. And I say, if they just made those engine trails at the rear from the nacelles green, it would have been perfect. And that concludes our look at the Arbiter. As I said at the beginning, it's a ship very close to my heart, being the very first T6 ship I ever bought in the game. Visual wise, I think most of the shields worked really well with it. The occasional issue that's common throughout them, incorrect engine trail colours with regards to the effects of the shields. But as I've said before, in order to rework all the visuals in this game, it's going to take a considerable amount of time and money, and it would be for zero financial return. So from a business perspective, I can't see Deca wanting to do that. It would be really nice if they did, don't get me wrong. Remaster them all and look at all the forced lighting effects that are baked into the hull materials and all that kind of thing, but I think realistically, 15-year-old game, from a purely business perspective, it doesn't make much sense. But you never know, we might be surprised one day. So onto the links in the description that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. So I've got my Real Merch affiliate link there, so I'll get you 5% off your first order from realmerch.com. I have my X and Blue Sky social medias linked in there as well. My in-game @handle, if you want to send a friend request, by all means feel free to do so. It's the same for both PC and console. And when I say console, I mean Xbox. Then we've got the STO Wiki and the main Star Trek Online news blog are linked in there as well. And other content creators, so we've got Casual Sab, we've got Nick NB, MC Stu, their YouTube and Twitch channels are there. Got the Mutara Alliance Twitch channel and Thornburg Media Twitch channels as well. So if you haven't checked them out, please do so. Hit them up with a sub, a like, a follow. It helps everybody. And all that's left for me to do is to thank you all very much for watching. We'll catch you all on the next live stream or the next video. Take it easy.